Good morning, third grade, or good afternoon. I actually I did this video earlier today and it was way too long, so it wouldn't download. So I'm going to persevere and I'm going to try it again. So I can't talk as long as I was talking earlier. But one thing that I had said was that I missed our morning meetings. I like to greet you each day, and so make sure that you are greeting someone at home each day. But we can't really do the activities here at on our own, but we can do some sharing. So I would like you to think of something you might like to share, and each day I'll share that with the rest of the group on our email and on the video. So you might want to tell us something fun that you're doing at home. Maybe you're baking cookies or experimenting with something. Maybe you got a new pet, or maybe your pet, you just want to tell us something about your pet. Um, or maybe you want to tell us something that maybe is happening that maybe we can pray for if somebody you know is sick or not doing well. Um, you can tell us about your sisters and brothers and anything that's going on, and we will share that. One thing I want to share with you today is that the Pope has asked us all to pray the Rosary at 4 p.m. So, knowing that there's a lot of power in prayer and that God hears our prayers, I invite you to join with the Pope at 4 p.m. for the Rosary. I'm going to go ahead now and talk about math. Your assignment today was to do the mid-chapter review. And on the email, I gave you a couple of clues to help you with number 1 and 2. When you go on to page 531 and you go to number 3 through 11, the greater than, less than, or equal, you can draw yourselves a picture if you need to, or you can look at those number strips. If you understand how to use the number strips, those might be very helpful also. On the next page, 532, I'm going to read aloud the questions so that you'll have some time to fill those in. Number 1, 2 walls in Tiffany's room are the same size. Tiffany paints 1/4 of one wall. Roberto paints 1/8 of the other wall. Who painted a greater amount in Tiffany's room? If you need to, you can draw 2 rectangles, one for each wall, one that Tiffany painted, one that Roberto painted. Tiffany's wall should be broken up into 4 equal parts, and one part will be shaded. Roberto, his wall should be broken up into 8 equal parts, and one part should be shaded. Then when you compare those, you can tell who painted more of the room, Tiffany or Roberto. Number 2, Matthew read 5/8 mile during track practice. Good for you, Matthew. Faith will be trying to catch up. Pablo ran 5/6 of a mile. Who ran farther? There's a difference between those two words, but we'll talk about that later. Farther is for distance. So I might draw a circle and break it up into 8 equal parts, and draw another same size circle and break it up into 6 equal parts, and shade in 5 of each, and then compare the two to see who ran farther, Pablo or Matthew. Number 16. Mallory bought 6 roses for her mother. That is so nice of Mallory. 2/6 of the roses are red, and 4/6 are yellow. Did Mallory buy fewer red roses or yellow roses? So we want to know, which color rose did she buy the least of? I think you could figure that out pretty easily. You could draw 4 flowers and color in, or you could draw 6 flowers, color yellow, 4 of them yellow, and color 2 of them red, and I think you probably would have the answer. Remember, they're asking for the least. Number 17, Lonnie used 2/3 cup of raisins, 3/8 cup of cranberries, and 3/4 cup of oatmeal to bake cookies. Which ingredient did Lonnie use the least amount of? Again, we want the smallest amount. I would draw 3 rectangles. The first rectangle for raisins, I would break up into 3 equal parts and shade 2 of those parts. The next rectangle, I would label it for cranberries. I would cut it into 8 equal parts and shade 3 of those parts. Then I would do the third rectangle for oatmeal, and I would cut that into 4 equal parts and shade 3 of those equal parts. Then I'd look at it and I could tell which ingredient did she use the least, the smallest amount of. Okay, I want to go on now in your workbook for reading. We're going to talk about adverbs, and then I'll have to probably pause and start another video. But on page 59, we're talking about adverbs again. Adverbs add more to the verbs. Yesterday we learned that sometimes adverbs tell how the action was done. Today we're going to look for adverbs that tell where the action took place or when the action took place. So for each one you can ask yourself, where did that happen or when did that happen? And that will help you find your adverb. So let's look at the sample. The scientists flew there in an airplane. The verb is flew. Flew where? And they underline there. There is the adverb. The next one. Then they cleaned the airplane. Let's see, the verb is cleaned. Cleaned where? Or cleaned when? Oh, then they cleaned. This one tells when. Let's look at the next part. It says, write the adverb that tells about each underlined verb. So they underlined the verb for us. Then write where or when to show how each adverb describes the verb. I'm going to add this. I want you to circle the adverb. Let's do a couple together. Number 1, it's too snowy to leave tonight. The verb is leave. Going back up to the directions, we want to know leave where or leave when. It's too snowy to leave tonight. Tonight should be circled. That's our adverb. And on the line, write when, because tonight tells when. Number 2. First, we will make a shelter. The verb is make. Make, go back up to the directions. Make where or make when. We're always going to ask ourselves where or when. Make when, circle the word first. First tells when. So write the word when on the line. We'll do one more together. Then we will drink hot chocolate. The verb is drink. That's what we're doing. We're going to drink. Does it tell where we're going to drink the hot chocolate? Does it tell when we're going to drink the hot chocolate? It tells when. So circle the word that tells when. That's right, it's then. Circle then. And on the line, then tells us when. So on the line we write when. I'll read the next ones for you. You finish them in the same way we did these first ones. Number 4, we can build a shelter there. Number 5, we will ride snowmobiles tomorrow. Number 6, we can skate nearby. They hiked away, but then they came back. Hiked. When or hiked where? Number 8, the iceberg lies ahead. Now remember, you can stop this at any time. If you feel like, oh, she's going way too fast, just stop and go back and take your time. I'm going to stop the video now and I'll be back to do some work with reading.